Welcome to the 73rd installment of Tell Em Alejandro, your number one place for sports, cars, video games, fitness. If you're a man, you're here. Mr. Alejandro's about to tell him.
What you about to tell him, Alejandro?
I'm about to tell you about why the Spurs are spanking the Heat.
Tell him, Alejandro.
The San Antonio Spurs hold a 3-1 lead in a best-of-7 series over the Miami Heat. This is kind of shocking to me. I'm going to get right to it. Let's start off with a quick recap of Game 1. Game 1, the Spurs won Game 1, and then the Heat won Game 2. Both games were in San Antonio. I expected the Heat to win Game 2 after the Game 1 loss. I expected LeBron to have a big Game 2, which he did. Game 1, the win for the Spurs was very controversial because the air conditioner was broken that game and LeBron James caught a leg cramp. Now, in Games 3 and 4 were played in South Beach. The Spurs won both games very, very decisively. Game 3, the Spurs won 111-92. Then Game 4, the Spurs won 107-86. Let's get right into the juicy stuff. Let's start with Kawhi Leonard. I criticized him Games 1 and 2. I said he did not show up in Games 1 and 2. Games 1 and 2, he combined for a total of 18 points with 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. In Games 1 and 2 alone, Games 3 and 4, he blew that out of the water. He's competing with LeBron James 1v1. He's taking it to the back-to-back champion, to the 4-time MVP. He's not sleeping. That little quiet man, he's showing up. Game 3, Kawhi Leonard had 29 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Game 4, Kawhi Leonard had 20 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Double-double. Kawhi Leonard is slowly creeping up onto everybody's radar. Even though he's a quiet dude, he's making a lot of noise. He's still not one of my favorite players because I need somebody that talks. He has no type of action in his face. And also, by the way, Kawhi, since your team is now on the verge of possibly winning a championship, please, you got to get your cornrows done. Your cornrows be looking crazy during the game and even before the game. So don't even try and tell me, oh, the sweat be making my braids look bad. Nah, before the game, this man's braids be looking crazy. Please get your braids done. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard for stepping up. I called him one of the 3 LeBron James stoppers. He's showing up, and Kawhi was like, these haters can't hold me back. These haters can't hold me back. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard. Let's go next up to Boris Diaw. Boris Diaw is definitely showing up this series. A lot of people are talking about he may be a finals MVP. I wouldn't say that. Just me personally. I'd probably pick Kawhi Leonard or Tim Duncan thus far if the San Antonio Spurs win the series. Just saying. Shout out to Boris Diaw, though. He's playing very good. He's almost dropping a triple-double every game this series. He showed up big, especially in the Game 6 versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. He helped get the team here. He had 26 points in that game, even though the Spurs cheated in that Game 6. Who's my source?
The streets.
The streets is my source. I know the Spurs cheated to beat OKC. That's another topic, though. Shout out to Boris Diaw. I think he's playing pretty good this series. And he's a mismatch for the Heat down low in the post. I don't know. There was a play when Boris Diaw had a nice behind-the-back pass. I don't know why Chris Bosh decided to double-team on that play. That wasn't very smart because I don't think Diaw was that much of a threat and commands a double-team in the post. But Boris Diaw is very fat. You can see that he eats a lot of food and doesn't work out. So shout out to my man, Boris Diaw. Let's go up next to Timmy, my southpaw man, Tim Duncan, putting in a lot of work. All games he's been consistent. Even that Game 2 when the Spurs did lose, I would probably take him as his finals MVP if Kawhi doesn't get it. Like I said before, he's been very consistent. This might be Tim Duncan's 5th championship. Shout out to Tim Duncan. Let's go to the Miami Heat. Like I said before, I know why the Heat are losing this series. You're going to be shocked why. I'm getting to it. Don't worry. LeBron James is not the reason. LeBron James has played good in all 4 games, especially in Game 4. LeBron James needed help in that Game 4. His help was supposed to be his man's, Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade did not show up in Game 4. In 33 minutes played, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. That's big, but that's not enough because he shot 3 for 13 shooting, 4 for 8 from the free throw line. Dwyane Wade did not look good in Game 4, but I feel like in Games 1, 2, and 3, Wade looked all right. So I don't think Wade's knees are bothering him. I heard Skip Bayless said that Wade looks a little bit chunky in the press conference. I agree, he does. He probably is a little bit out of shape. His cardio probably isn't where it needs to be. But I simply think the role that we have Dwyane Wade in right now, I don't think that's the right role for him. He's no longer the Robin to LeBron James Batman. I feel like Wade needs to take less paper and take a lesser role for this team to succeed. And they need to acquire some new talent. You already know who I'm thinking of.
Like LeBron, I'm taking my talents down to South Beach.
We're going to get into that another episode. Hint, hint. Next up, Chris Bosh. I feel like Chris Bosh needs to dominate the game a little bit more. He needs to play the way that he played when he was a Raptor. He needs to get in the post. He needs to call for the ball, say, God damn it, I am a big man. Give me the ball in the post. Stop shooting from far away so frequently. Get a little, bang in the paint a little bit. Just like how I be telling Kevin Durant, eat some burgers. Bosh need to eat some burgers, get a little bit bigger. And I feel like the Miami Heat, Coach Spoelstra, is not utilizing Chris Bosh the right way. He needs a little bit more touches and a little bit more burn in this offense. That's just how I feel. Also, I noticed that Michael Beasley is not playing in this series. I'm very disappointed in Michael Beasley. Once upon a time, he was the second pick in the NBA draft, and he has no-showed. He's been doing too much of that, and he's not focusing on the court. He needs to focus on the court because right now, he was acquired this year to help the team. He's dressed in a suit. He's not even in uniform. Right now, the team kind of needs some help, and he could definitely be helping his Miami Heat. Also, I noticed, I blame Coach Spoelstra for this. Shane Battier hasn't been playing. He's only played about 22 minutes this series. I don't know why. I think Shane Battier is a pretty good player, especially defensively, and he could help space the court out and shoot some threes. Battier should be getting some burn. Also, my man's Udonis Haslem. By the way, his birthday just passed. Happy belated birthday to him. Udonis Haslem should be getting some minutes. He finally played in Game 4. He played almost 13 minutes, but I feel like he should have been playing in this series. He possibly could have helped with the banging in the paint. You know, he's a goon. Now, I know the real reason why the Miami Heat are losing this series thus far. Everything that I said leading up to this definitely plays a role. But the real reason why the Heat are losing this series is because of Rick Ross. That's right, the rapper. I said it. Stop laughing. Let me break it down to you. Rick Ross in 2011, when the Miami Heat were in the finals facing the Dallas Mavericks, made a song called Finals.
It's the finals and my dogs came to take it all.
Where he hyped up his team, the Miami Heat, because, you know, he's from Florida. And the Heat went on to lose that series. In 2012, Ross ain't make a song, and the Heat won the NBA championship. Same thing in 2013. Now, this year, 2014, guess what? You guessed correct. Rick Ross decided to make another song about the Heat called Finals 2.
2014 and them boys back.
And so far, the Heat are losing this series 3-1. This is not a good look. Listen to me. Rick Ross! Stop making songs hyping up the Miami Heat, B. For real. You're cursing the Miami Heat. That's your squad. Look out for them. Stop it. Please. Every time you make a song about them, they start losing. Stop it. And if you got a problem with that, I got 2 words for you. Tell them. There you have it, folks. The Spurs are up 3-1 to the Miami Heat, and this series is looking over. In my opinion, since Game 3, when the Spurs had that historic first half offensively, the Miami Heat have looked defeated mentally, and I think the Heat have lost a psychological battle. There was even a time after Game 3 when a reporter asked LeBron James and Dwyane Wade a question about their lack of offensive production combined with their bad defense, and they started laughing in the press conference.
Bobby on the left side.
Bobby Ramos, bottom line. This is for both of you. You have a great defense. They're averaging 104 points a game. You have a lot of offense. You haven't broke 100 yet. Is the problem your lackluster defense, or is it the problems you're having offensively? Lackluster offense.
The problem is we're down 2-1. That's the problem. We got to figure out how to tie it up.
Mark on the left side. Two.
I didn't think that was a funny question at all. I think it's a very valid question. The Heat look very bad. The Spurs have outplayed them in every state, fashion, form. It doesn't matter. The Spurs are playing better than them. Do you think the Spurs have this series in the bag? This series is over? Or do you think the Heat have a chance to come back and possibly force a Game 6 or even win the series? Or do you think the Miami Heat are intimidated by the San Antonio Spurs? You know what you got to do. Tell them in the comments. Tonight's bow tie is brought to you by Ralph Lauren. Oh, it's South Beach colors. Even though I'm rocking that Spurs colored shirt, holla at your boy. Tune in for more sports, cars, video games, fitness, and all that. Follow at Em Alejandro to hear my immediate reaction to live sports events. Or, if you want to hear me cover a certain team or topic, tell them. Outro music. Kawhi Leonard picked his game up in games 3 and 4. Clearly, he drinks a lot of TEA because I told him to pick his game up because he stunk in games 1 and 2. Also, clearly he's afraid of Coach Gregg Popovich and Tim Duncan. Let me break it down for you why. We already know that Coach Gregg Popovich is a goon. He's the only entertaining thing on this boring team, other than Kawhi Leonard also. But Tim Duncan, he's been gooning up crazy lately. Chasing down referees, trying to give them a piece of his mind, picking up technical fouls. You know Duncan's in the locker room barking at these youngins, telling them, yo, get your game up, Kawhi. It's the NBA Finals. Stop playing like crap. Also, Danny Green. I saw him praying in the beginning of the game, right before the jump ball. You know Danny Green had to step his game up, that Long Island boy. Shout out to the San Antonio Spurs. Shout out to us. Let's get it. TEA. 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 Woo! TEA. NBA